Welcome to Maker Conversations. I'm Tiff Marchand from Night Carve Designs, and this is the kickoff of season 3. I can't believe I have been doing this independent podcast now for the 3rd year now. So I'm excited. I am in a completely different world that I was when I started this 2 years ago, and it's just really exciting to continue to bring on brands, continue to bring on makers that I feel have a great presence in this community and just get to know them more. So speaking of brands, today I have Isotunes on. We have Emilie. She does all of the social. She goes to all the events that we're all at, and she is that face of the brand. We go into all the little specifics, finding out when Isotunes was created and how she got on board with them. And I hope you enjoy getting to know her story. They will be at Workbench Con again this year. And if you're looking to come and you haven't grabbed your ticket, you can use Night Carver to save $50, and I get a little bit of a kickback. So helps you save some money, helps me earn some money, and I appreciate it. So enjoy the show, and we'll talk again soon. Hi.
Hi. I love your little setup in the back. It sets like the mood.
It's usually like a late night show, late night being 8 p.m. So I like to have that nice mood for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. It took many years, and my friend Mary Lou always telling me how important lighting is. So having those two little lights in the background, it really does help set the mood. Like you said. Yeah.
The lighting in this office I'm in right now is terrible.
Well, yeah, you're in an office. No one expects much out of you there.
I was like, is there any office open that has like natural lighting? And like they're all taken. I'm like, all right.
I mean, the most important thing is that your audio sounds wonderful, and
I'm wearing my Extra 2.0, so.
See, that's good for people to know, though, because I've worn headphones on things and they don't sound great. You know what I mean? Depending on what you have. So,
yeah.
Well, no, thank you for coming on. I know we've only got to chat very little at events, and I figured it'd be fun to, first of all, have you on, kind of showcase who you are and what you do for the brand, and kind of learn a little bit more about Isotunes. So how long have you been there?
I've been here. It'll be 5.5 months in February. I started August of 2018.
Okay, 5.5 years.
Okay. Yeah, I started right out of college. So
wow, that's awesome. And it was straight into the social. What is your title there, or your role?
My titles changed over the years. When I first started, I was the 7th employee. Okay. So there were only 2 of us on the marketing team, so I did a lot more. So when I first started, I was the content specialist. So I was doing social influencers, email. I was helping with packaging designs, with the very limited skills I had with Photoshop. We had a freelancer who I would kind of outline what I wanted the packaging to be, but then he would actually make it.
That helps though.
Yeah. And then it transitioned to social media influencer specialist. After that, once we had a few more people join the team, and they kind of took email and packaging design and all that off my plate. And then now I am a social media manager. So I still oversee, when I joined, it was primarily social media and influencers. I took over for, at the time, so we're family owned. And so it was the son, Eric Murphy. He was doing the social media influencer, doing everything. And he was going back to school to get his master's at Dartmouth. And so they were looking for someone to take over for him. And so that's what I interviewed for.
That's cool. How long has Isotunes been Isotunes?
I think 2015 is kind of when it started, but I don't think that they had the product until 2016.
Wow. So you came on pretty early on then. Like you said, there's only 7 people. That's cool. How many are there now in the company?
So we are global at this point, and there's just under 40. So I don't know if we have 2 in Canada. I think we kind of have 1.5. We have one main person in Canada who runs everything. And then I think he has his brother sometimes helps when he's on break from college. And then I think he has one guy that might help with packaging, but it's not full time, not 100% sure. And then we have 7 in Europe. I think 4 of them are in the UK, which is where we have our warehouse. And then we have 2 in Germany, where we also have a warehouse. And then I think one of them is in another European country. She does the finance stuff. But
that's really cool though.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
Sabretooth is a very small company as well. So there's only 13 employees for Sabertooth.
Wow.
Total. Yeah.
Wow.
And
how long
and
have
then
they been around?
they've been around since 1989. So for a while now.
Wow. So
Yeah.
they've just been able to get by with that few people.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like everything's made like in America. So they're all in Michigan based. So and they work with other machine shops. So that's how they help themselves. They will outsource to other machine shops in the area to do certain things and then bring it back in house to finish. So yeah, I guess having good connections is important with any kind of industries, you know?
Yeah, because I know for us, I think like one of our biggest teams is like marketing. So I'm sure that like for them, like most of those employees are just like with marketing and like doing that kind of stuff. Or is it not?
It's me.
Is it just it's just you?
It's me and Jody from Sabertooth. And then we have one guy kind of like you kind of tap into who handles like the website stuff. So I don't do any of the website stuff, but I'll send him stuff to put on the website. Yeah.
Wow.
It's
and you do workbench con stuff
yeah,
too.
exactly. Yeah. Well, it's funny because I think some people think that brands are bigger than they are sometimes because it's a brand, right? And you have to realize like not every tool brand or every company is the same, you know, like some of them are just family owned and so is Sabertooth. Sabertooth, you know, the owner started it because he was in a different industry and then they had these tools and they're like, well, what if we made tools for other things? You know, and it kind of like led into this. And it's just like a really cool, interesting thing to find out how these businesses all start. So how did, when you first came on, were they already like in the community or was that something that you brought them into?
So they were already in. So when I started, they already had like 16,000 followers on Instagram.
Okay,
like
cool.
Eric did a great job getting started. I think we were already working with a few people. I think we were already partners with April Wilkerson. We were partners with Paul Jackman, Brad Rodriguez. I don't know if you've heard of Stumpy Nubs, Jim Hamilton.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So he already had a really great start for us. So it was kind of easy to like just transition into there. I mean, for me, going into the role, I've never worked with influencers. It's kind of like one of those things they don't teach you in school.
Right.
And I feel like in 2018, it was still like somewhat new. I can't remember when it really officially started. I only know when I actually became aware of it as a thing. But I actually heard about it so Eric actually came. So in fall of 2017, I was taking a digital marketing class and I was like an adjunct professor and he was actually Eric's old boss. And so Eric came in with Isotunes to like present our class with a project. And so our project was to create a presentation to recommend some influencers that they should work with. And so like he really liked my group's presentation and so it was just him that like watched all the presentations. The rest of the company, like Pete and then like our VP of sales at the time, like weren't able to make it. And so like he had like messaged me on LinkedIn after and he was like, hey, loved your presentation. Would your group be able to come to our Carmel office and present it to the rest of the team? And so I think only because it was winter break at that point. So it was only me and one other girl who we were pretty much the ones who did most of the work anyway. So it worked out. But we went and presented it again to everyone else. And I remember at the end of the presentation, I was like, hey, if you guys are ever hiring, I'd love to work here. So
I love that. You have to be bold like that. People need to know, like, I'm interested.
Yeah. So luckily he remembered that. And it's funny because my internship that I was in like was ending. I had to take like summer classes. So I didn't graduate till August. So yeah, it was like right around the time where I was like still actively looking for a job because they weren't going to keep me on. And it was just kind of like one of those things where it's like everything happens for a reason, I feel like, and it just kind of happened. So
that's so cool. And were they already like going around to the different kinds of shows or they weren't really?
Yeah, they were doing the woodworking shows. Time. Yeah. I know like there's like a lawn care show we go to. I think that they did it 1 year prior before I started. But yeah, there's like the small circuit of like the woodworking shows was the title. So they were doing those. I think those were the main ones. I think everything else was way expensive and way too big at the time for us. So I think they would like walk the shows, but we wouldn't have like a booth.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. It's a hefty price tag to get into these things sometimes. And you have to make sure that there's a good return for your company. I totally get that.
Yeah. Another one of my responsibilities now is trade shows as well. So technically my title now is, I forgot, it's my manager of social media and events.
Okay.
So do both of those. It's more like the selling parts. I don't do like the B2B, like that kind of selling, but
you get to work with people. Yeah. Like that's your whole job essentially is to to bring that brand awareness to people and to get the right people with you all on your side and helping promote your tools. That's really cool.
I'm just taking a quick break to thank the sponsor of the show, Sabertooth Power Carving. We are just finishing up a really fun pop culture icon carving contest, and it's just been a pleasure working with them for the last couple of years. So if you're looking to grab any burrs, you can use Night Carver 10 in all caps to save 10% on your order. All right, back to getting to know Emilie.
What did you go to college for?
Marketing and management.
Okay.
Yeah, through the business school. I went to IUPUI, which I guess is now not called IUPUI because they split it. So now it's just like Indiana University of Indianapolis. Before it was like Indiana University and Purdue University like combined.
Oh, got you. My college changed names as well afterwards.
Yeah.
It's now a university. So I'm fancier now.
Nice.
No longer just a college. How are you enjoying the events? Like, which parts of them do you like, or do you like the whole thing?
I mean, when it comes to market, like obviously woodworking is my favorite. Like, I mean, it's like, it's so close knit. It's so different from the other audiences because you guys just are all so friendly, so accepting. And it's like, I feel like I know everyone because I just see all of you. And I think those definitely, I'm really excited. I always enjoy going to Workbench Con because I'm working, but it also doesn't always feel like I'm working just because I'm getting to hang out with the people that like I'm talking to on social. It's kind of like the same way you guys feel when you go. I might have to be a little bit more professional because I'm technically representing my brand, but
I understand that.
Yeah. But,
I always tell people you don't get to see the full me unless like you listen to the podcast or something, because that's usually when I let like the real person. I mean, I let it out, but I unleash it a bit more here. You have to have your way to like let go. No, the woodworking events are really cool. I really enjoy going to all of them as well. Maker Camp is a lot dirtier.
It is dirtier. Colder.
We blew a lot of sawdust in your face and I felt so bad.
Yeah, we didn't have to endure it as long, especially on that Saturday because it closed down. So
well, this year we had dust collection too, instead of just
really?
Yeah,
I did notice that it really wasn't as intense. Like I had my safety glasses on, but I remember like the previous year it was like flying in your like eyes.
We had 10 people all going at one time, no dust collection, and you guys were like right across from us. I felt so bad. I remember just going over there like, would you like some goggles?
I was like, yes, please.
I'm like, I can do nothing for your mouth, but let's get some eye protection at least.
Yeah, I learned my lesson on bringing like the silicone ears. I was like, we're not doing that this year. We're doing the bare minimum on the table because
they probably just
I was like, we're not doing display ones either. We're just putting one pair of products on the table because they're gonna get dirty.
You have to learn from that though. It's huge though, having brands like you come and represent, because if people have questions, I'm sure they have so many questions on your product, and I'm assuming which one is right for me is probably your biggest question.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest ones. Or it's like, which one's the best? And it's like, well, there's no best. It's more like, what's best for you? Because it's like, sure, there might be ones that are higher priced, but that doesn't mean that that's the best. It just means that it has more probably like technology that like for the perfect person, it works for them. But
yeah, because you have ones that actually have like headphones.
They're like
that come
hardcore,
out.
like they're like heavy
if they're
tech,
like a forklift operator or something, and they need to talk to people and communicate. They can still do that. I know you guys have those aware ones too. So
the aware technology is obviously going to have a little bit higher price point, but if you need it, it's definitely worth it.
No, that's important.
Like in your case, you probably, unless you have like your family trying to get your attention in the shop a lot, I like if you're working by yourself, you probably wouldn't need it. So
besides the color being awesome, there's not really a need for that in my house. Unless they come and bother me. But it's like I want to be focused. I don't want to hear anything else. Unless I'm trying to be crazy and power carve and have the CNC going, then you do kind of want to know like what's going on over there.
Right. Yeah.
That's cool. So when it comes to content creation, I know like the whole office seems to get in on it. You seem like you guys have a really cool crew.
Yeah, it's funny because like we have a lot of young people, so that makes it it makes it easier to kind of like get people on board with content. Because they're all like hip on social and they kind of like know what I'm doing. I don't know if you saw like the first part of a series I'm working on. I had this idea. I was like, I want to do something that like is holiday related, but it's like funny and like no one's really doing it. And it's like, what if I had like some of the guys at the office do like the Mean Girls dance? But then I'm like, well, can't just I have to build up to it. So I managed to get some of the guys on board.
I have not seen part one of this. I have to go look.
That's a little bit of a long video, but I was like, I did some like Bo Burnham song that I heard, and I was like, it kind of like creates like the story without me having to do like text call outs, which I felt like could have taken away from the video itself. But so on TikTok, someone was like, what is this? And I'm like, did you not watch it? It kind of explains itself, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know. After the fact, I was like, maybe it wasn't as good as I thought it was. Do you ever feel like that when you like post content and it like doesn't do great and you're just like, I thought it was so great. And then I posted it, I'm like,
and it could be as like you posted at the wrong time of day or some shit and it ruins it. And it's like, so why?
I put so much effort into this.
Well, it's fun because you're in like an industry that's kind of hard to create content around if you're doing it yourself in the office. Like if you're not actually woodworking or mowing a lawn or, doing something that you would actually need ear protection for.
Yeah.
It's clever. So it makes you have to be more creative.
Yeah, I do rely heavily on like user generated content when we're tagged. So trying to do a little bit more with getting more of that to where people are more enticed to do it. We're working on a revamp for our affiliate program, so that's coming soon.
Sweet.
But yeah, so a lot of it when we don't have as much for me to use, it is kind of just like me scrolling through, just trying to get ideas. Like sometimes it's just like an audio, like I hear it and I'm like, I can think of an idea just based on that. I think memes make it easy because it's just like, I don't know, just like making fun of things that are like related to hearing protection, I guess. Because hearing protection, like in general, like, yeah, it's not like sexy. It's not exciting. I guess we can try and make it sexy, but
it could be with the right voiceover.
Yeah, Paul really tried in that one video. But I'm just doing my best. I feel like it works. And luckily have a great team and the company really just lets me do whatever. They trust my judgment. So that helps.
No, that's huge. I have to get some of like, depending on who I'm working with, you have to get your content approved and it's not a big deal. You have to just wait. But when you have to like the ability to just like go and move and just post, like that's freedom is wonderful.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I do love how the antics you guys come up with. The Halloween costumes are always my favorite.
I know. Yeah. Those are great. It's gotten so like intense where I'm just like, this is a great costume, but I don't even think I'm going to win this year. People just go too hard. Like one friend, like she dressed up as Thumb Thumb and I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? So I've just my costumes have been The Office related because a lot of people at our office like that show. So I try to play to the audience, but the last 2 years I haven't won. So my chili won the cook-off though. So I at least got some gift card this year.
That's cool though. I'm glad that you guys, have a place that appreciates people who puts those kind of things on to get that community started, It's important to have fun at work. So
yeah, we actually have a culture committee. So like people will just kind of like, they have like,
I used to be the head of that at my old job. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did it 1 year and I was like,
it's a lot of work.
Yeah. I'm like, I helped put together, we went to like the Indy 500 on like qualification day and I kind of like had to figure out all the catering and I was like, yeah, I think I'm done. It was a lot of work. I don't know if I could do that again.
We're good with that. Let me just focus where I need to focus.
Yeah, I think my contribution every year now is I started like the Secret Santa every year. I think this will be like our 4th or 5th year doing it. So that's the only thing I do now is organize it. So
we all do our part.
Yeah, I try my best.
So you guys have a current affiliate program right now? You said you're revamping it.
We have one. We recently changed platforms. And so we're trying to kind of like restructure the whole thing to better fit the program that we have. It's a bit fancier. And it has a lot more like tracking and capabilities for us. So I know like a lot of people will reach out to us and they're like, hey, I want to work with you. And just making sure that like wherever we place them, it's in a place that makes sense for them and where they're at. 'Cause it's like, we don't want to say like, no, you don't have enough followers. Like we do want to be able to work with people, but it gets hard when it's like, well, you may not have a lot of followers. Like, what can you do for us and what can we do for you that makes sense? Or at least we want to still be able to reward you for like being a huge fan of our products and wanting to kind of like talk about us. So it's having different levels of where someone might fit, and still offering kind of kickbacks depending on where you're at. But yeah, it's TBD. Hopefully beginning of next year. Yeah, it's a work in progress right now because we want to make sure whatever we do, it's like the final thing. Like it's not something we have to change again down the road.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a lot. I've been trying to get one going at Sabretooth for over a year and a half now, and like still nothing. But soon, hopefully one day we can, because I want to give back to people as a content creator. I know how much work goes into those videos for people.
Yeah.
And for them, like you said, for them to put the effort in to make a video about what they're doing and then tag us and mention us, like that's the big part too, is like you said, if for those who tag us, you know, we try to share it and make that go and spread that love. But if you're not, then it's hard to find. So
yeah, I guess like the one benefit to hearing protection is that like we get to piggyback off of like what they're doing, because it's like you're going to be wearing us, but you may not be creating the content intentionally for us, but it just so happened you're wearing us, so it works out. So sometimes, like, unless it's like an intentional thing just to talk about our products, like it is kind of easy for someone to just like tag us because they're wearing us, which is nice. I think, yeah, definitely if you're like having to use a specific tool to make a project, that can be a bit more time intensive, and like especially when it's specific for that company.
Sure.
But
for 100%. Or if they want to like pull off a headphone and then have sound going and then mute it out.
If you're like trying to highlight the features of a product, that definitely,
Yep, exactly. There's all kinds of different levels, but yeah, exactly. When people are carving, I swear nobody, in the past, when I first started, they weren't really filming themselves carve. It was all like, hey, look, I made this with Sabretooth. And I'm like, but how did you use it? Can you show us? Like, I can't, like, cool, a beautiful finished product, but where's you doing that carving? So like I had to kind of talk to people. That's awesome. Can't wait to see you use the tools in action. Like I had to like put those words in to kind of like entice people, like, please.
Yeah, because I mean, I've never done like a video where like I'm showing like a process of creating something, but just like you said, like from what I know about creating content, like it probably just takes the whole process like 10 times longer because you're having to set it up to film each step and then going back and editing it.
Yep.
So
I have so
kudos
much
to everyone that's able to have the patience. Like I just don't get, like, you do like work on top of doing that. I just like have so much respect for people that can like have a day job and come home and then go and work in their garage. Cause like for me, it's like after the end of the day, like I'm done. I'm on the couch watching Netflix. Like I have no energy.
I think it's that having that passion to create, it pushes you. Cause I remember like when I worked at a job for 16 years before I quit it to like do my new career. And what drove me was the hatred of my day job and wanting to do something creative at night. Yeah. So I feel like that's where like a lot of people's energy comes from. It's like, this is my passion. Like if you have kids, if kids are in bed, you're excited, like, let's go play. Like it's time to unleash some creativity. So I think that's what drives a lot of people.
Definitely.
I'm just glad that we have companies like you who are encouraging to wear your PPE to protect yourself, because that's the thing people don't think about is like the damage they're doing to themselves. You only get one set of ears. You only get one set of lungs. Like these are things that are important to cherish.
Yeah. And it's like something where like, for me, like now I'm super aware. So it's like, if I'm out, like if you're like out at a bar, like it's loud, like I'll come home and my ears will be ringing. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, ow. And like, I have my watch set to like remind me when it gets above 90 decibels, and I'll just be like, hey guys, it's too loud. Like it's too loud in here. Like, I don't know.
You're now the sound police.
Yeah, basically do it all the time. But at least I'm aware. So yeah.
That's great. Well, I like that you guys are in the community. I think going to those events, like I said, it's just huge. It's showing that you care, and it helps you develop those relationships with people, because I'm sure you've met new people that you had no idea even existed at these events. And then you get to form those relationships. It's awesome.
Yeah. And it's nice just being able to know people like on a personal level, and it's not like superficial. It's like, I watch your content, like I know about your life. Like, how is your dog? Like,
you. Right. I gotta say, The first time, it was like Maker Camp 3 years ago when somebody came up to me and started talking to me like they knew me, threw me off so much. Now, like, because I did that for other people. I knew their, like you said, I know about their dog, I know about this or whatever they're going through, and it's just so surreal. But now it's like normal. Like we've all adjusted over the last few years. I mean, plus COVID, not having those human interactions for a while.
Yeah,
Took us a while to start bringing that out.
Yeah, it's like I kind of liked having like that time where it was like, because I mean, my social battery gets drained pretty quick, but especially at those event like Workbench Con, I'm like, I need like some time to recover after that. I don't get how people stay up all like night, like till 4 a.m. So I'm like, I at least need some time to just like be to myself. But yeah, like with COVID, it was like, all right, I need to talk to somebody. Like I'm kind of just like, I don't know, like I need some interaction. But yeah, that was a weird time. Like it's crazy to think that happened.
I gotta say though, I know it was awful, but also I loved not having to go to all the social events. It was just so nice. I needed that social event break. No baby showers, no wedding showers. It's like
nice, just like being able to just like wear the same clothes. Like no one, how are they gonna know? No one will know. Like unless you like create something that people see like that, or like you have a meeting. It's like
they'll never know.
Yeah. I think the only thing that happened was like I didn't drive my car for like a month and a half, and like I had to get a new battery for it.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
that shit happens. People don't realize that if you don't turn your car on, we'll die.
Yeah. But
is there anything that before we head off that you want to talk about when it comes to Isotunes that you'd like people to know about, like the brand or products?
Yeah. I talked with the team to see what I can tease out. That's coming soon. So one thing, I'm not sure if you're familiar with like the EU switch on like the requirements by 2025 to have USB-C in all electronics, but because we sell globally, they're like every device should have just like the same plug, which that makes sense. So one thing that we're working on is having all of our products be USB-C. So I know the coming spring there's going to be a few that have it. I don't want to say the names yet because sometimes like
they change.
We plan for it and then it gets pushed back. So I do know that we are updating the Link Aware though. It's basically like a 2.0 version, but we're kind of getting away from using the term 2.0. So I don't know if we're going to change anything about the name, but I think like starting by the end of January, like we'll be sold out of like the old version. And so this updated Link will have like all the updates that came with like the Link 2.0. So better battery life and like the headband and it's going to have like that USB-C option now or plug. So I know it'll be the first muff that's USB-C for us.
Cool.
That's exciting. I think like the one thing that people think they're like, oh, why can't you just
muff? First
USB-C?
Of all, I love the language. It's going to be the first muff.
It is kind of hard to switch something from USB, like the micro to the USB-C, because just like I'm not the engineer, but like from what I've been told, it's like a whole different piece that you have to figure out how to fit it into that like compartment.
That makes
so
sense.
I guess that's why there's
fit into that.
Yeah, that's why there's been kind of a delay in us like doing it. But now that Europe is kind of forcing her hand, it makes it like, okay, we got to figure this out now. So that's coming. I know right now, like a big focus for us is finding a way for people to have more personalization with their products. So whether that be like customizing the firmware, like allowing users to customize their listening experience. I have this on a sticky note, so I'm just reading off of that.
That's fine.
Their listening experience, like their user experience. That's something we're kind of already doing with the Aware technology. So where you can kind of customize like how the feature that blocks out the noise works. Like right now, our models kind of vary depending on like some of them will not cancel out entirely. It'll only bring it down to 85 dB, while some of them it will cancel it out all the way until it gets back below 85 dB. So I guess giving people that option to customize how they want it to work. And then I think like some people prefer more bass, while others prefer, I don't know, other than bass. I'm not like an audiophile, so I don't know. I think bass is the one I hear the most often, but there's other things that people want to hear.
That's interesting that bass is the thing that people want the most.
Or maybe they want less. I don't know. Like I just hear bass.
Give me max volume, baby, because that's what I want to hear. Because my machines are so loud that it's like, oh, you have like a dust collector on, and then the vacuum for your stander on, or like your tools. It's just like awful. So
yeah.
And
then what's the other one? I've been note about, oh, and then I don't know I can't remember what it meant by merging hardware with software. Something there. Something there.
Merging hardware with software.
Yeah. Just leave it at that. And then we're kind of like trying to work on creating products that are focused on teams that are communicating. I know when I was at AWFS back in July, we had a lot of people that work in like large group settings in like shops, like big shops. And so they want to be able to communicate with each other. And it's walkie-talkie, but also it's like we can do more than just walkie-talkie. I feel like with what we're kind of working on is an open network where it's not like where one person talks, it shuts off the other person trying to talk. It's just like an open system for people to just communicate. So it's also almost like being on like an open call and everyone's just able to talk. So
as long as there's a mute button.
Yeah. So with that one, I think that's like the biggest thing that has been asked of us. And especially just across all of the markets, like construction would be a big thing. I know like lawn care. So that's the one thing we're really excited about.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, what their people's wood shops too are growing as they get bigger and people are bringing on employees, and it'd be nice to have those systems, especially for like you said, lawn care. If you're out everywhere and your team, you need to communicate, like that's huge. So
yeah, and it's cool because like I think the technology we're working on right now has the feature where it's if one person like because each person would have to have their own device, so it'd be like you're connected to this device and you're also connected to your phone. So when you're connected to this device, another person has that device and it creates a chain. So then if someone's connected to that person that's farther away, it creates an even farther chain because then they're also connected to that original person. Like it just creates a farther distance, like it can go like miles kind of thing. So if you're on like different floors or something.
That's crazy. You said miles too?
Yeah, I think depending on like how many people are on the network. I don't know how many miles, don't quote me, but like I think
I get like,
you. Yeah.
But to have that kind of a distance, especially if they're like on a farm or something, I'm thinking like where there's a lot of land, that would be really helpful.
Yeah. So that's the biggest thing we're working on. But other than that, yeah, we're just really excited to be at WorkbenchCon again.
No, we're excited to have you guys. You guys are always, I don't know, I feel like it's a good place to go because again, we all need it and there's a lot of different options and you're able to bring all your stuff there because it's not going to get dirty or damaged. So people can actually like look and see it all and kind of experience it with you.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is being able to try it on and like see how it fits. And then also trying to like show people, hey, you need to squish your ear tips better because that's why they're not fitting right and that's why they're not working the way they should.
Well, those are the kind of, like when you make content around that though, I think it's just so cute. Like I love the way that you're doing it. I love the way that you're presenting the company. It's very fun and it's nice to see people showing their employees because a lot of it is usually kind of like just hands, you know, and then a close up of an ear, you know, like I'm trying to think of like how you would avoid showing like a person.
Yeah. Early on, I kind of did avoid myself. And then eventually I was like, whatever, I'll just be in it.
You're part of it. You're, you know what I mean? Like when people reach out to you, they know that they're talking to you. Like they're talking, this is the person that I need to talk to if I want to become an influencer for Isotunes, you know, that's huge.
Yeah, I think that was one of the biggest things where I was like, okay, I kind of need to start showing my face because I will go up to people at events early on and it was like, oh, I'm the one you talk to on social. They're like, oh, it's you.
It's you.
Yeah. So
hopefully that's what we try to tell them at like WorkbenchCon is like our goal is to put the person that you're going to be talking to or at least working with after you talk to that initial person right in front of you. So that way you can go and approach them, get your name out there. Do you have any tips for people just when it comes to talking with brands or pitching yourselves?
I would say, and I don't think that people do this, but I think sometimes it's kind of like an uncomfortable where I'm like, they come up to me and I think sometimes they just like are wanting like a free product. I think that being more focused on the relationship and less about like the free product. Cause I mean, for me, if someone's like willing to buy a product because they really want to just like work with us, that means a lot more than just like, hey, send me a free product and like maybe I'll work with you or maybe we'll do something. You know. It's like we only want to work with people that genuinely like our product. And if you're willing to like invest in it and try it, and I feel like people, and I don't want to generalize it, but I think that sometimes people don't value things as much when they get it for free.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know, like for me, like I have so many of our products and I'm like, oh, that broke, I'll just get another one. But I think when you spend your own money on it, like you have more care for it. But that's not to say like we wouldn't send someone a free product, but I think don't go into the assumption that someone's going to give you a free product just because you're an influencer. Be more focused on just trying to build a relationship and get to know the company. Because like for us, it's like you always are going to need hearing protection. So it's like a long-term relationship.
Exactly. Like the one
It's
pair
not
that
like
you
just
have
like a one
now,
and
it's
done
not
kind
going
of
to last
thing.
you forever. You might break it yourself, or
Yeah.
you might want to try a different one. Like, oh, I love the over the ear. What do these inner ears feel like? Maybe I can use
And
that for something else.
Exactly. And it's usually easier to work with people once they already have an understanding of our product, because I think that you kind of need to use them for a bit to really speak to them. Because for some people, if you're like going from like AirPods to Isotunes, it's going to be a bit of an adjustment. And I think that like also just figuring out the terminology, like they're not noise canceling, they're noise isolating. There is a difference on that. And they are safety focused. So just kind of understanding like they're not going to be like, that's not to say the sound isn't bad, but it's like, it's not going to be like, oh, the listening experience is like going to be amazing. I mean, we are working on improving it. I mean, obviously that's always a goal, but your safety always has to come first.
I think I have to talk about that for sure, because people ask me all the time, like, do you like those Isotunes that you wear? I'm like, yeah, they're great. Like, yeah, but I want it louder. I'm like, well, I want it louder too, I'll be honest. But this is a safety hearing protection, like this is to keep your ears safe, and listening it to louder and like the highest that you can, that's not keeping your ears safe. I'm like, you do have to realize that when you're wearing these things, it's to help you have the longevity, to not have that ringing in your ear later, or just that, like that, I don't know, like you ever go like the dentist and you feel like you hear the drill later. You don't want that experience. You want to be able to go do whatever work you're doing safely and leave that and not have any repercussions from it. Like
There's
that's
give
really
and take.
important.
So, but I mean, who knows? Like 5 years from now, like they might be like next level. Like like we take customers' feedback and we're always trying to do better. Our customer service team works very closely with our in-house engineers, and they're always trying to take what people say and figure out a way to do better.
I like that.
So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to seeing these new models coming out eventually, whenever they know. Rush. I understand. I understand.
Yeah, you never know. There's always delays.
And I love that advice that you gave too about building the relationships with brands. We talked about it on the last episode that I had with Kristen from Workbench. Like, and I said, like, do not expect to go to Workbench Con and just like land brand deal after brand deal and leave there and you've got all these deals. No, expect to leave there to start building a relationship with all these people. Ask the questions that you want to know. Impress them with the knowledge and research that you did about their products. Because I'm sure you love it when somebody comes up to you and actually has like a real question or just like helpful suggestions. You know what I mean? Like to come in and just ask for a free pair and like, hey, I've got 25,000 followers. You should work with me. That's not going to convince me as a brand to give you something. I want to know, like you said earlier, what can you do for me that's going to be different than other people? Like, how are you?
Yeah, exactly. I think differentiating yourself, because especially for us, we work with so many industries, we can only work with so many people in each industry. So figuring out like, how are you different from the people we already work with? Because if you're just going to be cannibalizing like the types of customers that are already coming from people we work with, I mean, that doesn't necessarily help us. Like we want people that are bringing in an audience that doesn't already know about us.
So. I'm sitting here thinking about an idea of just like wearing them in the house, cooking with the kids, going, what?
Right? Some people do. I know, like, I think like Brad Rodriguez's wife, she wears like the pro wear just like around the house. Like she'll be vacuuming, she'll be doing stuff. It's kind of funny. And I know like Paul Jackman's wife loves the pro wear. Like she'll wear them just like around the house. So they are for more than just like the shop. And I think that's another thing that's important to stress. It's like you need hearing protection outside of other places, and they're also earbuds. So, I mean, I use mine for work. I use mine for like everything. So
yeah, I got to try the earbuds. I only have the over the ear because I use them for the shop, but it is nice to have them for other things. Like you're saying, like going out and doing yard work and stuff, because like if you have the over the head ones, those just fall off. Like, you know what I mean? When you're bending
like our muffs
down,
aren't the sexiest. Like they're very like industrial,
I love them.
Like, but they're like hardcore, but they're not like they're not like whatever the Apple muffs are kind of thing,
Yes.
or headphones.
Your Beats.
Yeah, but they're sturdy.
No, they're awesome. But like for when it comes to landscaping, when you're bending over doing your own yard work,
yeah,
anything's gonna fall off your head. I've actually lost many earbuds into piles of leaves too. So
yeah,
that has happened too. So, but I just like that people are hopefully thinking about their hearing protection a little bit more, because there's things that can happen to you after this profession or whatever you're working on that can cause permanent damage. So
yeah, definitely.
I'm glad you guys come out and you're in the industries and you're making it a point to go to these shows. It does show like a lot about the company, and keep doing what you're doing. I love your content. I think it's hilarious. I showed it to my husband the other day because I was like, oh yeah, I've got Emilie from Isotunes coming. It's going to be great. And I'm like, look what this stupid stuff they do. It's great. I love it. I love like just diving in and being funny and showing your personality. And the fact that, like I said earlier, the company and the people that work with you jump in now, like making fun of your not millennial, Gen Z, right? New employee, like it's fun seeing that, because we have
another one coming out on Friday with that.
Oh, there you go. It's entertaining. It's not the same old when it comes to advertising, and it stands apart from other companies. So
yeah, one thing we're trying to do is definitely like just showing more office culture, because I mean at the end of the day the goal is just to get our brand in front of people, and it's like the hearing protection post might not get as much reach, but like if we're just doing something that's trending, we're at least getting the name in front of a wider audience. So.
Yes. Nope, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thank you for coming on, and I'll
I
see you
appreciate you
in a couple
inviting
months.
me.
Yeah,
I'll see you soon. All
right, have a good day.
Thanks, you too, Tiff.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed getting to know more about Isotunes and getting to know more about Emilie. It's so nice to be able to talk to the brand reps and build those relationships. I have been chatting with her for 2 years now, and the relationships just keep building stronger. That's one of the most important things. I have another brand coming on the show very soon, and you're going to hear us drilling into this over and over again. This is not a one-time interaction. You want to continue to talk to these people, continue to tag them, and make sure they're aware that you are really invested in what they do and you want to work with them long term, because it's not just a one transaction thing. You might need more things as your shop grows. After this call, Emilie did send me over a pair of the earbuds, the free 2 ones, and I gotta say those have become my new daily wear. So if you're interested in the earbuds, if you have any questions, definitely reach out to them. Feel free to ask me as well. And if you want to help support this show, there's a ton of different ways. You can just send a direct gift, or I have a bunch of affiliate programs on my link in my bio, and you can check all those out. The one that gives me the best kickback is Carhartt. So if you're looking for some new gear to keep you warm, definitely shop my link for Carhartt. All right, guys. Thank you again for listening, and I look forward to chatting again with you.